Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1400! Woohoo! 1400! 1400! 1400!
Standing out here yelling rabble, rabble, rabble isn't going to help anything.
1400!
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
1400!
Mike's Daily Podcast.
1,400, my friend. I have done that many at Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I think I deserve some kind of award, what I won't get one, and that's because nobody likes my songs, because they're kind of a train wreck. But you like this show, and what the heck, it's fun, isn't it? It's a finely tuned
This is a fine-tuned machine.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I just did that intro for you because I'm the Mike.
Mike's
That's
All right.
Daily
Yeah.
Podcast.
And I'm a little kooky.
Yeah!
Listen, that's the end of that song. Oh boy, I got to see my friend Kevin yesterday. I haven't seen him in a while. He works at a brewery. I drank a beer that was so good. It was a barley wine ale. Oh, fantastic. I haven't drank beer in a while. Beer. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello, my God, it's a Jelly Shoeheart gift shop supervisor. Oh my God, thank you so much for having me on the show for 1,400 episodes.
Yes, you have, Shelly. You've been on every single episode. No, you haven't. But it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you, Mike Matthews. Are you drinking anything? Can I get you a drink?
Sure. Oh, barley wine ale. Look who else just walked in. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the engineer. Mike, barley wine ale is very overpriced. That's true. Yes, so why do we even drink it? It's a thing. I thought barley wine was going to get even more popular than it did. And it did not as popular as it did not get that beer. But I had a fun time talking with him, and we kabootzed. And we celebrated that we had not seen each other in months, like a half a year at least. So.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Over that half a year. And then I got up late today. Oh. The podcast pictures of me getting late today. No, it's someone who just walked in who has this to say.
Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? What are we talking about?
In the podcast picture today, we're talking about something important.
Oh, good.
Yeah. What I was going to talk to you about today is that we have a lot of articles to get to on the segment A Fine Article. And so we'll get to that in a moment. This show started as the Messy Desk, Mike's Messy Desk, back in 2009. Right after I parted ways with Cumulus Broadcasting. Then it turned into Mike's Podcast Picnic. Then it turned into The Last Place on Earth. And then we became Mike's Daily Podcast. I said, you know what? I've got all these funky names for podcasts. Why don't I just call it what it is? It's daily, it's a podcast, and hi, I'm Mike. So that's what happened, and here we are. But you can check out the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. It's got links to all the shows, even the first one. Well, it's got links to the description of the... If there's a show that you want that I don't have on the website, let me know. Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com, and I can find it. And sometimes I have to reestablish links because it's been so long since I put the show on the web. And I am doing this all by myself. Don't want to be all by myself. So just to let you know that that's the best way to do it. Hey, I work with a guy who's addicted to clickbait. Now, the stories that I bring you come from somewhat reputable websites, newspapers, magazines and whatnot. But this guy hits on any clickbait and watches the things like the rats falling into the Chipotle and just stuff I don't need to see. And he's always, Mike, come over here and see this. And I do not want to see that. So, do you have a clickbait friend? They're just addicted to clickbait. They've taken the bait. Stop taking the bait, America. And here's the other thing. Stop texting. Can we go on an X text binge for a while? Just X the text is what I want to say. Pick up the phone and call someone. My friend Katie, I hadn't talked to her in a long time. Usually we text back and forth. Hey, do you want to walk the dogs together? Oh, sure, let's go. And that's Lady Katie from Holding Court with Lady Katie, which we've done on the show before. And I hadn't heard from her in a while. The last text we did was so abrupt that I just picked up the phone and called her. I'm like, are you okay? She says, yeah. She was really surprised I called. And that's how people are now when you call them. Oh my God, is something wrong? We're just supposed to be texting each other and emojiing each other. No, pick up the phone and talk to each other. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this a better place if you can. Let's get to the segment now that is called
A Fine Article.
Silly, great, fat article.
By the way, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com is the website for all the past podcast pictures. And if you want to help out the show through the Amazon link, click on that Amazon link first before you go to Amazon. I know it's hard to remember, but just go and do it. Do it now. And then there's the PayPal. You can help us out that way, and you'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. All there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Washington Post has written about, in a period of less than 26 hours, President Trump made 2 fired-up speeches, held a news conference, and tweeted with abandon, leaving a trail of misinformation in his wake. And here's a roundup of his claims. Suspect claims. He was at that National Scout Jamboree I told you about yesterday. He said, 19th Boy Scout Jamboree, wow, and to address such a tremendous group, boy, you have a lot of people here. The press will say it's about 200 people. It looks like about 45,000 people. You set a record today. You set a record. That's a great honor, believe me. Believe me. The figure of 45,000 is not official, but if so, that would not be a record. The most attended single-site jamboree was held actually in 1964 in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, with 50,000, almost 51,000 attendants. In 1973, the jamboree was held in 2 sites, in Idaho and Pennsylvania, for a total of 73,500 attendees. That, according to, in terms of... Those are the raw numbers. And in terms of percentage of Boy Scouts attending, 2010 holds the record. So then he said, our stock market has picked up since the election, November 8th. Do we remember that date? Was that a beautiful date? What a date, he said. Trump equates the rise of the stock market since the election as a demonstration of a good economy, but the stock market yet has already been rising for years before he was elected. And he called it a big, fat, ugly bubble back then. And you know, we have a tremendous disadvantage in the Electoral College. Popular vote is much easier. According to a tally by John Pitney of Claremont McKenna College, every Republican since Ruther B. Hayes in 1876 won a larger share of the Electoral College votes than Trump, with the exception of George W. Bush and Nixon. And George W. Bush was elected in 2000 and 2004. Well, 2000 in a contested election. We had the best jobs report in 16 years. The stock market on a daily basis is hitting all-time high. Trump appears to refer to the fact that the unemployment rate was 4.4% in June, which is a 16-year low. This was a slight increase from 4.3% in May. The unemployment rate was 4.8% in January when Trump took office. And when he campaigned for president, he routinely said the unemployment rate numbers were phony and were actually as much as 42%. The actual jobs report was nothing special, with fewer jobs created than in June 2016. Trump often said the stock market was a big, fat, ugly bubble. Now he celebrates its continued rise. You can read all of them in the Washington Post, the fact-checking. And then he also did a news conference at 3:30 yesterday. And he said, Obamacare is a disaster. It's failing on every front. It's too expensive. It gives horrible coverage. Trump continues with his overheated rhetoric on the Affordable Care Act with, as usual, few specifics. Credible estimates suggest that the health care law boosted the number of people with health insurance by 20 million. The Congressional Budget Office, in its report on the GOP replacement bills, said the individual market would be stable in most markets at least for the next 10 years under the Affordable Care Act. As for it being too expensive, most people who participate in the exchanges receive tax subsidies. I know I did, which I had to pay back. That was fun. That shield them from premium increases. The healthcare costs have slowed since the passage of the ACA, though the jury is out that the law is mostly responsible. Now, let's jump over to Hawaii, because I like a good palm tree swaying in the wind, don't you? We have palm trees here, even in Northern California, but practically all of California has the palm trees. And if you go to an In-N-Out Burger, you're sure to see two palm trees intertwined. They're intertweed. They're tweeted. The latest, or that's a tweet. I'm in another eddy. The latest summer advice for Hawaii goes beyond usual adequate sunblock and properly riding out a tropical storm. The state's emergency management authorities recently released official guidelines on how to survive a nuclear detonation. Seek shelter in a blast-resistant structure and do it in minutes. Also take note, the light from the blast can damage your eyes. But why now? Because of the rising tensions with North Korea have put the possibility of a total wipeout on the radar of the archipelago's population of more than 1.4 million. On July 5th, the United States toughened its military pressure and invective against the communist nation after North Korea conducted a successful test of an intercontinental ballistic missile that appeared capable of hitting America's two most western states, Alaska and Hawaii. Hawaii's Emergency Management Agency released guidelines running through the steps that could help in surviving a nuclear blast hitting a city or a beachside community. It's the 1950s all over again. You wanted the 1950s back? Well, here they are. That is what they're doing in Hawaii. This is according to the New York Post. And then the Senate, there, meanwhile, speaking of Obamacare, they've embarked on an unpredictable and potentially chaotic floor debate aimed at repealing Obamacare. GOP leaders will hold votes on a slew of different health bills to see how close they can get to passing something. The debate, which will be punctuated with skirmishes over obscure rules and parliamentary challenges, will culminate in an all-night vote-a-rama later this week that could feature dozens or even hundreds of amended votes. At the end, Republican leaders hope to be able to pass a health bill, even if it's just a slimmed-down Obamacare repeal that only scraps a handful of the law's most unpopular provisions. This according to Bloomberg. Let's jump over to tech now with all these fine articles. Twitter, speaking of tweeting, because I think I was just a little while ago, heads towards its quarterly earnings report tomorrow with a stock that has risen more than 40% since April. Remember when it was doing really bad? It was going to be written off by Wall Street. The company's share price popped after its most recent earnings report in April when Twitter disclosed better than expected user growth. Yeah, for a while, like, nobody was joining Twitter. And then we've got Trump tweeting all the time, so that is good for Twitter. What about Facebook? Facebook might be making a speaker, kind of like what do you call it? The thing that the Echo that Amazon has, Alexa, and the thing that Google's working on. The device, which according to rumors will include a 15-inch touchscreen, is slated for release early in 2018, supposedly. Apple also has their own, called a HomePod, powered by Siri. And finally, Google As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast. Moogly has said that, and I have a thing that says that. Here it goes, right here. Following its launch on Android last December, Google's Trusted Contacts app has now arrived for iOS, for the iPhone. If you share your location with others, so they know exactly where you are while you are getting home from a night out or trekking in the woods, because you want people to be Big Brother over you and know where you are. Isn't this exactly what people didn't want to happen? All their information. There's also an option to automatically share your location with trusted contacts in case you don't respond within a set amount of time. Handy for when you're out of range or on a hike. No. Next show, it's going to be Benita will be back.
Mark, I can't wait.
That's good.
I gotta go. Bye, I'll buy back in Sarah where there's a lot more root beer.
She loves the root beer. Or is it, do we have barley wine? I don't know, but yeah, that's what next show is going to have, her and the Disgruntled Fiddle Player and the Brewmaster. Thanks for being with this show for 1,400 episodes. I know you've listened to all 1,400. And pretty soon we'll be at 1,500, and then I'll actually be able to afford some balloons to fall from the ceiling. Maybe. We'll see if I find a little change in my pocket going jingle-ling-a-ling, or on my couch. Thanks for listening. Hey, if you want to give me a congratulations for doing 1,400 episodes, please, you can call me 336-MM-DAILY. That's 336-MM-DAILY. Or email me at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1400-Achievement.com. Did I say that too fast? Ariel will repeat it.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!